Hey, welcome to Jam TV, show number 106. And here's my friend Bill Noman. There he is.
Wow.
I said, I'll see you in a minute. And I meant, I'll see you in a minute, 10 seconds.
I was about to start picking my nose, and then that happened.
Exactly. It's like, hey, Bill, how you doing? Good to see you.
It's like my daughter lives in New York, and she doesn't love New York, and she really doesn't love New York as it is now, with what's going on there, because it's a shit show right now.
So tell me what you mean by that. Are you talking in particular about the news today, where there's
the news today and what happened to her this morning, which is, it's just the same thing that so many metropolitan areas are dealing with, which is homelessness and mental health and all of these things that seem to be completely out of control. And my daughter starts the day, and she sends me this stuff, and I'm just like, A, I love New York. B, I never had anything really bad, even during the worst years there, nothing ever really bad happened to me.
You didn't get mugged or anything?
Never, and
me neither.
And she starts the day with, she's getting off the subway, and some guy comes up and just stomps on her foot and then pushes her, and like, this is the subways now, and she shows like a picture of her foot, and it's got like, a red abrasion, and it's like, I can't do anything with that information. And this is before the shooter thing came out. Like this is before, and then that, and it was like, it saddens me, that people that I know for the last 4 years or something, anybody I know that went to San Francisco, which is another city I love, I would say to them like, that's awesome. You went to San Francisco. And they're like, oh man, there were people taking craps on the sidewalk at Ghirardelli Square.
Wow.
And if you talk to people from LA, oh, that's the guy that pulls down his pants and does whatever on that,
What is going on? What is going on? Is it just that, like, us normal people have gone a little crazy during COVID, and the crazies have gone really crazy?
I think there's a systemic failure for our society to somehow deal with the things in the cracks, and it's getting to the point now where the cracks are getting wider, like the cracks are bigger, and I don't know what the answer is, honestly, because, there was a time where you took people off the streets and you put them in a shelter, not the greatest thing in the world, but the price was right. And, that's what you did. Now that doesn't seem to be happening. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. But
I remember when I was back at Kent School, I was part of a singing group, the Kentones. There were the Kentones and the Kentettes, and we would entertain at Harlem Valley Psychiatric Center, which is one of these like 50s, 60s, 70s era, giant psychiatric hospitals that appear all around upstate New York and Connecticut. Like what they have them in Bethel or wherever that is, up Danbury or something. They had one of those.
Yep.
Where you drive through it. You drive like it's like a 15-minute drive, and you pass building after building after building that were full of people. And then Reagan just said, we're opening the doors and we're letting them out, and that wasn't good either. But
not our Ronnie. Our Ronnie didn't say that. I mean, it's like, no, it's like there's a one like kind of up near Pauling. There's one up there that.
Yeah, that's Harlem Valley. That's where we used to. And I remember as a kid, going there, and we're singing like one singular sensation. We're like, one of those like totally white person a cappella groups. And we're singing for these people, and they are on lithium, and they're like doing this and drooling and in straitjackets. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, I knew I lived in a sheltered life, but I didn't realize this is what exists,
Right. I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest helped in a certain way to sort of hip you to
but you know,
some aspects of it.
but
you know?
I watched things like that and I went, oh, that's just Hollywood. That's not real. That's not,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's way worse than that, you know?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the mental health thing is, and I don't know what the answer is because there's so many other people who for whom that's really just, it's just a defense plea, like,
Right.
you have the people that are really require help and aid, and then you have other people that, I feel bad about. I'm depressed. The guy from the 76ers who won't play because he just, he's depressed.
Yeah, but that's I wasn't, for a change. I wasn't kidding when I said, did the normal people go crazy and the crazy people went off the cliff?
Right.
And I think that I've talked to a lot of people lately, and a lot of people, and they're like, oh my God. Like I say, like, I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know how I'm supposed to come back and integrate it. I haven't started a jam yet. Like, what? Like, why haven't I started a jam? Why haven't I, and it's because I'm like, I want to stay home and I want to, like, I'm a
Did you see
agoraphobic.
that Wendy May is going to be relocating somewhere?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like TBD, but they scaled it back so that it was going to be every other week.
Right.
And I guess it's a reflection of the business isn't doing great. And not her, I mean, she's done an excellent job of making that a night,
Right.
But I have a feeling like the duck itself is probably not doing great because
Don't
despite
know.
what everybody thinks, music is not a business.
It's not back.
savior
It's
ever.
not back. I've had some. I've been lucky. I joined this British Legends, a rock band, and we've got some gigs and some good. We did the Bijou, and we got some wineries and everything. And I tell myself, I'm like, God, maybe it's getting back to normal. And then I look at my calendar. I'm like, my next date is end of May. I'm like, what now?
Well, I'm going to, the reason, as I am the master of space and time, as I'm speaking to you all out there, I am actually sitting at Carnegie Hall.
I can't believe it.
And I'm watching Todd Rundgren and Daryl Hall, two of my greatest musical, idols.
So how did that show happen? What's that all about?
Well, they're Philly boys. They go back to Philly. I mean, Daryl was literally in the Philly recording scene, Sigma Sound, and all those places, and he did background vocal stuff. And Todd grew up in Upper Darby, and he was more of a rocker. He had the band The Nas, and Nas had the original version of Hello, It's Me, and they had another great song called Open My Eyes. And then but they always maintained that Philly thing. And then Todd produced one of their albums called War Babies, which Atlantic Records hated, but I loved, and it was a reflection of what they wanted to do. Everybody said, oh, they listened too much to Todd. Well, it's really what they wanted to do at the time, and Todd was the right guy to help them do it. Mm-hmm. So they go back a long way, and they've done some other stuff. I saw them up at Ives a couple of years ago. They played up together, and
they have a band. They have a full band, or how do they do it?
It's basically Daryl's band. It's like live from Daryl's house band, of which there's a couple of guys from Norwalk in there. I think there's
Elliot Lewis is probably playing with them.
Elliot Lewis, it's funny. I saw he must be because he has been, and the bass player is also bass player, and maybe the drummer too, are Connecticut guys, and and so they back Todd, they back Daryl, and then they combine for stuff, and
very cool.
And it's just I couldn't pass on the opportunity to go to Carnegie Hall to see them.
That's great.
Carnegie Hall. It was probably Ricky Lee Jones. Be despised by many, Ricky Lee Jones, but not by
the last time I was in Carnegie Hall, I saw Paul McCartney, and he didn't play, but he composed a symphony that was performed at Carnegie Hall, and he was there. And the audience was like, oh, Paul. They're like looking at him like he's the president of the United States, and he's up at whatever, and he's like, hello, I'm here. And then they played this symphony that he wrote.
Yeah, I remember when he was doing the classical thing, because I think Billy Joel did the same thing. I think he wrote some classical pieces, but I've always been a McCartney guy. I mean,
absolutely, and me too. Like he was the first one that I saw when I was 6 years old. I saw Paul McCartney. I was like Andy Williams and Paul McCartney. I was like, Paul McCartney, what amazing, right? And but it's interesting. I like classical music, but I don't consider myself any kind of expert on classical music.
Sure.
But the difference between Paul McCartney and Mozart and Beethoven and Chopin is immediately clear. You're like, oh, Paul McCartney doesn't know what he's doing, does he? Because all we know are the best guys in the last 5 centuries.
Well, and it literally goes back to, they're doing, what is it? There's only 12 notes, and therefore you can da da da. It's like they're kind of, it's way above the chimpanzee with the pen and the paper is going to write Shakespeare. It's way above that, but it's still, it's a little bit of posturing and.
Yep. But that being said, I have amazing respect that he could pull it off at all. Like it was a symphony, and it was interesting, but I could sort of hear he wasn't Paul McCartneying it up. It wasn't like Beatles riffs going through nothing like that. But you could tell like he's got a deep knowledge of music and composition and how to put that kind of stuff together. But he ain't no Mozart.
I mean, he's monstrously musical. He is a musical beast. He is extremely musical. More so than John. More so, he was the guy that really, I always say every band needs a McCartney and a Lennon and a Stills and a Young. Like you have the one guy who really has the wherewithal and the other guy who has just a pure sort of artistic spirit to him.
Right.
And if you are left to the devices of the pure artistic spirit guy, you ain't got a band. Eventually, wait, his girlfriend's in a hospital bed in the recording studio, and he just left.
And eventually, that's what happened.
That is what happens eventually.
Wow. So, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do a song that is done by the Stylistics. Speaking of Philly,
wow.
I've always liked the song, and again, this is part of me putting my little tippy toes into at some point doing a Philly thing, and cool. At this point, Holly doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna like talk to her about it because we've done stuff before, and I thought she would be the best person for it. And
very cool.
Some other people have shown some interest in it, but I want to go with somebody that I know is going to show up. So. Trashman didn't get my trash today. Oh, why? Because they want more pay. Embarrassing. Buses on strike want a raise in fare, so they can help pollute the air. But that's what makes the world go round, the up and down the carousel, changing people's heads around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round. And that's the theme of this show tonight, kids. And if you don't believe that, then leave now, because this show will bring you down. Wall Street losing dough on every share. They're blaming it on longer hair. Big men smoking in their easy chairs, on fat cigars without a care. But that's what makes the world go round, the up and down the carousel, changing people's heads around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round. I would love to play guitar solo on this to just sort of, it was like a horn solo, sort of like Burt Bacharach. He's like a trumpet. I haven't been drinking either. But that's what makes the world go round, the ups and down the carousel, changing people's heads around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round. People make the world go round. People make the world go round. People make the world go round.
Nice. What a tone. That song's got such a dark tone. It's really cool.
It does, and they, in Philly, they were, what Berry Gordy was afraid of was exactly what they embraced in Philly. Like Berry Gordy had to go, he went head to head with Marvin Gaye when Marvin Gaye wanted to get political and topical, and the same thing with Stevie Wonder. In Philly, they were doing it a lot. In Philly, they were down with it, And it was a couple of years later, so they had the benefit of having Motown blaze the path for them a bit. But
right, that's great. That was a cool tune.
Yeah,
I've never really focused too heavily on Philadelphia as a music scene. Like when you're mentioning things that I know, but I never really thought of it as a cohesive music scene, and I guess it was.
It has as much of a musical character, like a identifiable musical character as, because it basically was the same 2 or 3 songwriting, Tom Bell, Linda Creed, oh man, I can't believe Bell, Creed. I mean, I'm missing like the biggest duo of them all. Hello, why aren't I drinking? Why I should be drinking? What's the difference? But they just wrote so many of the songs. So it's
right.
The OJs, the Stylistics, the Delphonics, the
right.
The Spinners. The Spinners who are really from Detroit, but they really hit their stride there. In
Very cool.
Philly. And Billy Paul and me and Mrs. Jones, like songs like that. Like
right.
They had a sophistication to what they were doing. They were not that Motown did. Motown was a beautiful fabric of people, playing together. But Philly was slightly, it just had a little bit more to it. Like that chord. I love that chord.
What is it?
You don't find that in a lot of Four Top songs.
What is it?
It's an F sharp. What is it? It's a.
Don't start there. That's the evil chord for keyboardists. We can't.
F sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is a beautiful thing to resolve to a B7 on.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, that's beautiful. And it's like it took me like hours, just fudging, because I don't know what I'm doing really, So, but I can hear things, and I'm just like, what chord is it? What chord? And then it sounds like this. It needs that. It needs this. And
yeah, but see, that's how my brain works too. Like I'm proud of you that you said that chord. But like I did a gig once with that I should not have done, but it worked out okay. And it was at Minton's Playhouse in Harlem, which is Minton's Playhouse was the place that bebop was born.
Wow.
Like that. It's a famous jazz club, and I played with a saxophone player whose name, oh my God, what was his name? I want to say Cal Keogh, but that wasn't Cal Keogh. It was Cal. Oh my God, I'll think of it. And a great guy. Where he and his wife, they're lovely people. They just decided we don't get the respect that we deserve in the States here, so they moved to Singapore, and he became like a jazz thing in Singapore, and he lived there his whole life. And a great guy. And so I played at Minton's Playhouse because his piano player. Now, I'm talking about a jazz quintet with guitar, piano, bass, and drums, and him playing sax. And I am not a jazz guy. And he was like, you have to do it. And I'm like, get somebody from Juilliard. Get somebody who's studied all the modes and all of the chords and all the standards. They're throwing standards at me. They're like, well, this one, right? And I'm like, I might have heard it once, And so, but what I do is I rely on my ear for like that idiot savant thing that what's his name's kid? We talk about this kid all the time. The kid who has perfect pitch. It's Rick Beato's kid.
Oh, okay.
Right? Have you seen him?
I think I have seen him.
And Rick Beato's like, here's a chord, and he plays the most insane chord, like with insane. And the kid's like, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat. It's like, holy shit. And so I'd be doing the song, and the guy would hand me this chart, which was like chicken scratch. And I was like, oh God, right? And then I'm like, okay, I'll just sort of look at the big letter or the number in the beginning, and I won't look at all the craziness. And I'll listen for the guitar player, and he'll go, hit it perfectly, and then I'll go, oh, it's this.
Yeah.
And he would look at me, and more than not, I was right. And I'd be like, okay, so you're going to play that, I'm going to play this and this. And he was like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a D. Yeah, like I'm like doing that, right? I'm like, it's got a flat 5, right? And he was like, "Ugh, you're an idiot! Like this is going to be the worst gig ever." And then the gig turned out great. Like nobody actually cared, And I sort of
that's that to me is a scary bar, and hats off to you for that, because I mean, honestly, it's like I have a gig on Saturday. I'm like, I have a double booking on Saturday. I'm playing.
Wow.
I'm playing at Gates.
What is that?
With Mike Mugridge, and then in the afternoon, I'm playing a solo thing at somebody's mother's 80th birthday. So I
Cool.
said to them, I said, look, I'd like to play, some stuff that she wants to hear. What does she want to hear? And I said, I just got to tell you in advance. I'm not like a jazz guy or a Broadway show guy, but I do some of that stuff. Like I do it, but there may be a limit. So I'd like to know what she'd like. And it was so funny. She wanted House of the Rising Sun, anything by the Beatles, and La Bamba.
That's way out there.
That's not exactly putting me to the paces there. But I had to make sure they understood I'm not a jazz guy.
You're not doing the Cole Porter songbook along with like Weather Report.
I do not think that Moon Dance is a jazz song. Okay,
there you go.
And
that's my limit. Like I can fake my way through it. And I'll hear it. Like I'll hear that flat 5. If I tried to play that chord before you said anything, my finger would have just found that flat 5. I would have been like, that's a little too straight. What about that? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Well, I love jazz. I listen to jazz a lot. I'm more of that. I'm of a certain period of time. I don't like modern jazz, and I prefer Coltrane before he went more experimental. I like classic Coltrane. Thelonious Monk, like guys from that period of Miles and before the Charlie Parker, Lester Young. I like a lot of sax players.
I do too. I like that stuff a lot, but I don't play it. But
Jimmy Smith, brother Jack McDuff, guys
Love
like
it.
that.
Yep.
I love this stuff, and when I put my iPod on shuffle, like anything can come up, and it's just I listen to it, and I'm just so impressed with. And I guess they practice too, but it just doesn't, there was a quote I read once about jazz. It was like, jazz is like studying to know blah, 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 and then forgetting that you studied, like forgetting that you know anything.
That's it. They learn every standard in 12 keys, and that's it. Like they learn it in every key, and they learn it forward and backward, and then they learn how to just whip it off. And I respect that, but I don't have that kind of patience. That's the problem.
But I do love that. I mean, I do.
Beautiful.
I do love that. So,
all right, play some of the swill that we play. Come on, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to play something that's super simple, and I'm so tired of like watching the replays of these things and just questioning my whole existence. So I'm going to play something I think I know. There's 3 standard chords. Well, soon the pines they will be falling everywhere. Village children fight each other for a share, and the 609 goes roaring past the creek. Deacon Lee prepares his sermon for next week. I saw Grandma yesterday down at the store, and she's really going fine for 84. And well, she asked me if sometime I'd fix her barn. Poor old girl, she needs a hand to run a farm. And it's good old country comfort in my bones, just the sweetest sound my ears have ever known. Just an old-fashioned feeling, fully grown. Country comfort in a truck, it's going back home. Down at the well, they got a new machine. The foreman says it cuts manpower by 15. But that ain't natural, that's what old Clay would say. See, he's a horse-drawn man until his dying day. And it's good old country comfort in my bones. It's the sweetest sound my ears have ever known. It's an old-fashioned feeling, fully grown. Country comfort in a truck, it's going back home. The old fat goose is flying across the sticks. Hedgehogs done in clay between the bricks. And the rocking chair is creaking on the porch. Across the valley moves the herdsman with his torch. And it's good old country comfort in my bones. Just the sweetest sound my ears have ever known. Just an old-fashioned feeling, fully grown. Country comfort in a truck, it's going back home. Country comfort in a truck, it's going back home. Country comfort in a truck, it's going back home. All right, I know that one.
Nice. You're on tonight.
What's got to be tough for you is there's no chit chat for you. Like you have to sit here and listen to this, or maybe do something else. It's like normally you'd be talking to Will Baird or something else.
There you go. Right. That's what we do behind the scenes. Like listen to Bill.
Well, either that or you look up things that have been mentioned. And you just
exactly
check.
Exactly. Well, I'm happy to see you tonight. So we're reaching the 30-minute mark. I want to hear you do another song.
All right, I'll end on unlike me, I'll end on a positive note, I think. You got to accent the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum. Have faith down to the minimum. Have faith, pandemonium's likely to walk upon the scene. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? They said we better accent to weight the positive, eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. To illustrate my last remark, Noah in the whale, or Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything looked so dark? They said you got to spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum, and have faith, or pandemonium's likely to walk upon the scene. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. I am Mr. In Between.
Very nice. Very,
And
very
there
nice.
it is. Well, it took days in the making, but here we are.
There you go. Bill Noman, thank you so much for being with us.
I am happy to be there. Have a nice night, everybody, wherever you are. And I will be at Carnegie Hall.
All right, hang out backstage. We'll be right back.
I would love that.
Hey, y'all. Dave Lindsay, how you doing, man? What are you eating? Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm good.
What you got going there? Steak salad? What's on top of that salad?
That's breaded chicken cutlet on top of that. So.
I can't even believe what I'm seeing. That looks great.
Yeah, I'm happy with it so far.
Fantastic. I'm bringing everybody on. So that was
How you
actually,
doing?
I'm doing great. That was a taped segment of Bill Noman. I was wearing the same shirt we did at Monday night. He is right now, literally right now, watching Daryl Hall and Todd Rundgren at Carnegie Hall. And so he's doing that right now. So we taped that last section, and I wore the same shirt. We're like, oh, we'll have everybody fooled. Hang on, I'm bringing everybody on. Let's see. There we go. There we go.
Hey, and there they are, folks.
Sounds good. Now hold on 1 second. I think I have a phone call.
Hey,
It's live television. You know?
I've never seen him do this.
It's Randy Stone. Hey,
I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone.
I'm trying to reenact. See, it's Randy Stone. I'm trying to reenact what happened a few minutes ago because Randy logs on the show, right? He logs on the show and he's like, I wonder why Ed, because I can see all the guys down on the bottom here. And he's like, I wonder why Ed's not inviting me into his conversation with Bill Noman. I'm like, because it's not live. You need a time machine.
Oh, I'm not good enough for Ed and Bill Noman.
Oh my God, you know.
I am not worthy.
It's
That's
true. Unbelievable. We got a full
How dare
house
it.
tonight. Hey, Ray.
Simonelli.
How you doing?
And Christian Dreyer. Good to see you, man.
hey, everybody. Good
What
to
you
see
been
you.
doing lately? Tell me some of your accolades since COVID is over, Christian Dreyer. What you been up to?
Staying down in my dungeon down here. Nothing.
Changed,
But
right?
I mean, been my accolades.
What
Went
have
to
you been
California
doing?
twice last year. Been writing with if you guys remember Larry Danza, the bass player.
Yeah.
When Mike was alive.
Right.
You know, keeping in touch with everyone. And Ed, I was watching you 2 weeks ago do all your like gizmo stuff. I was digging that.
Mike
And then I have
Gizmo.
another, and I
Yeah.
have
Oh
another
my
friend
God.
here in
Gonna
Wisconsin
bring
who
another
loves
one
that. I
out.
was trying to get, I was trying to get him into that. Oh, and then I was chatting with JC Alza.
Yeah.
And then JC Alza knows a cat, Ed Bettinelli, a drummer, which is
Yeah.
a small world. I was like, oh shit! So I got back in touch with Ed Bettinelli. But I've been down here in the room. I've been green screening and doing these shows like for locals here in Wisconsin, playing some ditties and writing songs. I've written, I
Right.
don't know, a shitload of songs.
That's
Recording.
good. Get
Just
that
good
out
now.
there. If you're going to
Yeah.
produce records,
Just,
produce them. Get them out there.
Records?
just
What's a
been
record?
doing- That's
Exactly.
it.
I'm actually working on an album. I can't say anything
Cool.
about it on the air right now, but I got a weird. So I don't know. For those of you watching who don't know, this is my latest musical instrument that I love, and I've got. It's not the only one. Like
Put it
I'm
up
weird.
closer.
I'm weird now. I'm doing that's a little modular synthesizer. Those
Yeah,
are
I
little
love
wires.
that. I
And here's-
love that.
Here's one
that
with
night.
naked without the
Yeah,
wires.
I saw
whatever.
that. Yeah. That
And
was
then
cool.
so this is the kind of craziness that I've been into lately. And what's funny is so you have everybody here has an identity of how people see you, of course, but also how you see yourself as a musician, right? You know, like you're like, okay, here's who I am. I do this kind of stuff. I play drums in a Grateful Dead band, or I teach guitar and I play it, you know, an acoustic guitar. And depending on who you are, you have this idea of what you are. And I feel like the pandemic has made me stray, because like, I don't know, I'm not the guy who plays in a bunch of bands and does jams anymore.
Right,
like
right.
who am I? Like
what am I?
And
Right.
so during the pandemic, I was like, you know, in 1971, my dad took me to Manny's Music in New York and got me a synthesizer, which, you know, it had a keyboard on it and it had some switches, and that's about it. It wasn't anything with patch chords or anything too weird, but it was 1971. The Mini Moog was out, and you know, and so I got into that then, and my whole life, electronic music has been this sort of back current in my life. Like that's my hobby that I don't show anybody.
It's cool.
Because nobody will want to see that. It's too weird, you know.
Oh, I like it.
And so the other day, right? Like, I mean, like, so you know Eric Zenhausen, right? Eric Zenhausen, who did a ton of videos with Mike Benwall and us, and he just got one of these, right? Like we talked on the phone, and it's called actually he got it naked. This has a case on it, but he got one of these, and he's been posting videos of him playing his like weird pocket operator, which is like a full-fledged
Looks like a
recording.
calculator.
It looks like a broken calculator from the dumpster behind Texas Instruments. You know, like it's like it's literally
Yeah,
like
that's
a
right.
circuit board. You know,
Omar
and
Brain.
and yet it's like a full-fledged recording studio with sampling and
Nice.
sequencing and like does a lot of stuff. And so there's this whole electronic music revival now that's happening. And a well-known guy contacted me and wants me to play on we're actually doing it. We're recording on a record with people that are way above my pay grade. But now I'm starting to see myself as like, okay, maybe my dumb hobby that I've had my whole life shouldn't be my dumb hobby. Like maybe I'm like the electronic music guy, and I've got to start seeing myself that way. And I'm having a blast. I'm doing some really cool stuff. So everybody here, let's jam on electronic music projects.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the plan.
I've been delving into more video and editing in Pro Tools, and my friend's like, man, you edit so fast in like the collaborative version, and I got the green screen, and but yet I also had a beautiful 1963 12 string put back together to write my acoustic song. So I'm delving into that analog world, but I have my guitar synths to do bizarre shit, and like I like shorts on YouTube. I Christian Dreyer YouTube, if you guys check it out. There's one of them was
wait.
Michael
I'll check that
Baumwell put them up, and I put one up 2 weeks ago. I was like, what's this fucking short thing? What is this thing? So I threw it up there, 3,400 hits. And again, you're not going to buy the ranch. It doesn't mean anything, but it's odd to me, Ed and guys. It's like, wow, like the digital realm, it's like, you know, and everything you do with these shows or we do, it's like we are versatile. We can be more versatile and embrace all these genres. So, I mean, that's what I've been working on, you know. Just
That's
trying
great.
to-
I'm really glad to hear you say that, because that's the kind of epiphany that I've been having lately, which is I wasn't just cooped up in my little cell here during the pandemic, but like maybe there's a renaissance going on, and we all need to find our other side, whatever that is.
You know,
Incubating.
a big question I kind of had, I was like with the wife before I came down, I was like, I got to get on Ed's show. I've been texting him and talking to some cats in there, you know, and I got to get back on there. And I was like, you know, and also tonight I got to see, what is it, like Polestar talks about ticket sales. I'd like to know first quarter, this obviously like Foo Fighters lost their drummer, and
my God,
Perry taps into all those LA bands. And how did Lollapalooza, how are all the stadiums doing? I have some friends, and my brother goes out and tours bigger venues. It's like, but how are the crowds? And, you know, my wife's like, you know, you never know. Like that shit might all come to an end someday. And you self-distributed guys, you might be the future doing it from home or at different levels, you know? So
I was just saying to a friend of mine today online, like I don't actually have friends in the real world, but I was saying to a friend of mine online today, I don't know any, like I know you guys, I used to know you guys in the real world, but now you're all on my screen here. But I was saying to a friend of mine today that I went to film school in Boulder, Colorado, and it was like they taught you, like, okay, you could take 6 months and you could make a movie with all these people and all this equipment and expense, and you could get it out, but then you got to have people watch it, and maybe you'll get into some crappy little film festival and have 300 people watch your 6 months of work. Now you go, hey, I got a joke for you on Instagram, and like 7,000 people watch it. And that's the world that maybe we ought to be thinking about us old guys ought to think about getting into, That's,
Yeah, I
At
think
least you just do what you enjoy, and you could put it out there, and
put it
that's
out
where
there.
I'm
People
at.
might stumble on it, and if they go, I'm not interested in that, that's fine. But you might get somebody that you don't know that looks at it and goes, whoa, that speaks to me somehow. I want to see what that is.
For sure, yeah.
I had a similar thing, Ed. So I haven't. I've had a couple gigs so far this year, but it's been fairly sparse, and I've got nothing really lined up for April or May.
Right.
Once June hits, then I've got stuff happening for the rest of the summer. But well, my girlfriend Michelle is an artist, and over the pandemic, she got back into creating artwork, right?
Right.
And she built herself a YouTube channel, okay? And she does art tutorials.
Yeah,
right?
cool.
And she's super busy with it. It's a real COVID success story, right?
That's
like,
great.
One of the
For her.
people who took COVID, the shittiness of COVID, and turned it into a positive, right?
Right.
So she's been doing that, and what she needs is she'll do a voiceover over her, drawing video, but she puts music behind that, right?
Right.
And obviously there's a lot of stock music out there, but it's like I think about the shortest video that she'll put on YouTube is about 8 minutes.
Okay, right.
So, she'll have to splice music together because there's not a whole lot of stuff out there that's maybe that long. And so anyway, there's other copyright issues and there's issues, right?
Right.
So I've been thinking, and she asked me, well, can you create some music for me to use?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sound tracks.
I'll get this, and we'll get Eric, and we'll plug Eric into this, and we'll get
Right.
this, and all these little toys, and we'll make some cool music for her. Yeah,
I've
that'd be
been using GarageBand on an iPad, okay?
Yeah,
and
right.
I'm not an Apple guy.
And so what have you been piecing together using that?
So I've made a couple songs for her that
That's
she
great.
liked. Obviously it's a lot of repetition because it's got to be 8 minutes, and I'm not, doing.
that's a lot of time to fill. Yeah.
It's a lot, right? But it's a background track. It doesn't have to be, a super song. It just has to be something that's pleasant to listen to in the background.
Yep.
And I've really enjoyed doing that. And I've only done a couple songs so far. It's time consuming. I
Yep.
find
Yeah.
it's probably it's easily 6 hours to put together something like that for me.
That's right.
And I'm not all that familiar with the tools of that program yet.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
I spend a lot of time, looking stuff up, like how do I do this, right?
Right.
Right.
Well-
The GarageBand's a good place to start. It really
really
is.
cool
Yeah.
program. Really cool.
Got all kinds of good stuff in there, looping and instruments, and
And I've been happy with what I've gotten out of it, and she has too. So, yeah, I'm all about that. It's
you know
really
what's
cool.
interesting? So this record that I'm working on with this guy, and this is a very accomplished producer. I sent him a bunch of tracks. There's songs, and they send me stuff, and it's all done on the internet now. Even though we do get together a little bit. But the idea is I'm producing it here in my studio and all that, and there's a tendency to make it more complicated than it needs to be. And so I was working on, I sent all these tracks back, and they're really complicated and lots of stuff going on, and to sift through and edit and all that. But I also did a piece the other day where it was like a 10-minute piece. It took me 10 minutes and 10 seconds to make because it was like I hit record and then did a performance. But it was which piece of gear was it? It was this thing through a very, very simple synthesizer. It's like a scanner that like plays notes when it hits the light scan and whatever. And it was just 3 notes, and it was like Buddha da Buddha da Buddha da. But it evolved in a way where the notes started interfering with each other, and it was very hypnotic. And what I'm saying, like, you could do a piece for her videos, which is you at your djembe, and you know, playing the djembe for 10 minutes, and resist the urge to make it way too elaborate, because it doesn't have to be, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really true. Less is more. Space is good.
Right, it's true, you know. So speaking of space, Will Baird, why don't you do a song for us? Let's keep it making a musical show. We'll take a break. We'll pepper these conversations with some song.
All right. Okay. Sorry, but that's a do-over. I just can't live with that.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Lindsay, I wrote that whole thing, was all recorded on GarageBand. And it actually wound up being on my CD. I got I can't say I don't think I should say the guy's name, but I got a local producer who was actually a national big shot to do the mastering of it. And so you'd never know that it was on GarageBand, but that was on my CD. It's up on Spot, etc. You can do great stuff with GarageBand.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. Really cool.
The Beatles did not have GarageBand. Okay, they
4 tracks. That's it. 4.
They had
That's
4
all you
tracks, and some other good stuff. But I mean, from a technology point of view, you can do a lot with very little.
Yeah. Well, and it's different from Logic Pro, which is like the graduated version where you pay money for it, because it has like so many features that if you decide, if you're a do-it-yourselfer like a lot of us are, you get there And it's got, for example, it'll have a bunch of buttons. It'll be like reverb, compression, such and such. So you go, okay, I want reverb, So you press the reverb button. It's almost like a door. And it opens up, and instead of having a bunch of buttons, there's like wild snakes and beasts and all these things that are all like, coming out, and you close the door right away.
That's right.
It's like so fucking complicated that it's terrifying.
That's right. And so I am two things, right? I play music, right? Whatever. But I also am like a complete studio nerd. Like I love tech and I love gear and I love patching things together and seeing whatever. A lot of people don't. They're like, I'm a musical artist and I don't want to flood my brain with crazy technology.
That's right.
And that's very, very valid. In the olden days, you were like, oh, I'll just go over to so and so's studio and they'll handle all that, whatever, push all the buttons. But now we're all expected to like, okay, you're gonna have to. You've got to figure out which of the 7,000 stock reverbs in Garage or whatever
That's
in,
right.
Logic, and then you're like, I don't even know what sidechain compression is. How do I live? How do I get a living?
That's exactly. I mean, one of the options in ChromaVerb, I think it is. It looks like a spaceship, and I don't even know what to do with it. Like what to click on, or what to. It just looks like a spaceship.
I have always been attracted. So, like most things that you buy, right? Most equipment that you buy, it'll say like, let's say you buy, a synthesizer. Here's a synthesizer, right? Made by Moog Synthesizer. And it comes with like, and it does this, and it's got a this, and it's got a whatever. And that's why you want to buy it. And so I was watching a review about these weird handmade synthesizers, like I'll show it again. This thing, right? A little handmade modular synthesizer, which I've customized with like a little breadboard, with circuit wires on it, like weird. The review and the sheet is like, you probably don't want this. It's unruly. What were the words they used? It's impractical, very limited use, and unpredictable, and gets cranky very quickly. And I was like, yes,
That's
that's my love life. That's my love life.
My kind of machine. That's the one I want.
That's right.
Says this.
I'm not looking for a dependable woman. I'm looking for the crazy one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You want the Moody Moog.
There it is. And so, with same thing with technology. GarageBand, you can go pretty deep in GarageBand. I haven't used it much because I have other stuff. But the other stuff, like you can get lost. There's so many layers of stuff in there. Anyway.
The guy who mastered this thing, it was hilarious because I was told his address. I go to his address and it's in Newark. It's just like a regular neighborhood. It's like a bunch of little capes and houses and stuff. And I'm thinking, I must be in the wrong place. This guy has 4 not Emmys and whatever you call them, Grammys. He's won 4 Grammys, So and I noticed then in one of the garages as I drive by that there's a Maserati or some like really hot car, and I'm like, I think that might be his house. And I go up to the front door and he opens the door immediately and he says, "Don't come in here." I was like, "Go on the side." And I was like, okay, So I go downstairs into his basement, and he's got like every freaking thing you can imagine. He's got like this wall of gadgets. I've never seen anything like it, and the mixing board is just massive. And I go, okay, now what I'd like to do is, kind of do this together, so that we can kind of talk a little bit about what what I'd like to do, with each tune, and kind of do it collaborate, okay? And he goes, oh yeah, sure, we'll do that.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay, I'll just leave.
And you're like, can you plug my guitar into your big mixing board? He's like, yes, I can plug it into all of these things here.
Oh my god! Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
But then he came back with this thing that just kicked ass. I mean, it was just amazing, absolutely amazing. It was like,
where is this? What city is this in?
In Norwalk.
In Norwalk. All right, cool.
Yeah, I just don't know whether he'd want me to say his name or not. I don't know him well enough.
I don't know. You think about that.
I had the sense of Mob Ties. I just had that feeling about it. There was something about it. When I went down into the basement, I thought I could die in here and no one would know. I'm not married anymore, and there's nobody at home but the cat.
Now you better not mention him because he's going to
exactly.
right away.
I'm about to log off.
I've already said too much. Well, the funniest thing. Oh, well, I won't go on. Anyway.
Oh my God. Hey, Ray Simonelli, I want to talk about something.
Okay, talk to me.
First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing very good, thanks.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm doing great. You still teaching guitar, and how's your spring developing? What's
I'm
new
still
for you?
teaching guitar, but I was off this week because all of my kids are.
Right. Oh no.
Oh, they're all locked up.
They froze.
Ray's locked up.
They're frozen.
Yeah, exactly. The kids are all locked up, and so is Ray. Oh my God.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. I'm looking for when Ray freezes, we need to drink.
Where is my
He's
drink?
really frozen.
All I've got is a fire
Hey,
extinguisher and a fog
it's
machine.
gonna be a heavy drinking night tonight
My bad.
because Wendy's Jam is not happening. So Ray could be on the show for the whole thing.
That
He's
is
got a lot of
exactly
people
what I wanted to talk
Ripped
about.
by the end.
That's exactly what I wanted. You froze up there for a minute there, Ray. But what? So what's happening? Don't give away any confidences. What's going on in the jam world? What's happening?
Okay, at the Black Duck, what happened was the past three weeks. I think David, I think it was the week after you came. Thank
Yeah.
you, by the way, for showing up because we had a bunch of friends that night, including David. We had a good night. But the past 3 weeks have been so dead that, I mean, even people from our own music community weren't there. And, Jules and Craig are like, right, where the fuck is everybody? I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. So because it's been so slow, the owner made a decision. Well, since it's so slow, let's do the jam every other Thursday until it picks up. And then if that works well, then we'll just go back to the weekly thing. So I guess he's trying to cut his losses.
Yeah, right.
So Wendy is working on one of 2 other venues right now. She was
That's
hoping
good.
to have something for tonight, but there was a miscommunication, another event going on at one of the places. So it got all fouled up at the last
Keep us
minute.
posted of what's going on in the jam world. And it's like part of me says, God, it feels so normal. We're back, and I have some gigs, but like you were saying, Dave Lindsay, like I had a couple gigs last month. You went to one of them up at Sugar Hollow Tap Room with the British Legends of Rock, and then I had another one at the Bijou Theater. And then I'm like, wow, I'm like playing again. And then I looked at my calendar. I'm like, my next date is May 28th. I'm like, I don't have that many gigs. I'm not Randy Stone. Like I got a gig every 20 minutes, But it's weird, and like jams aren't back to where they were, so we got to wait for it to sort of recycle and reset.
And the problem is that now we're seeing this fucking virus spike up again. I know in Connecticut it's back up like over 6.25% positivity rate.
That's right.
Wow.
You're red.
I've been feeling okay about going back out inside, right? I mean, I've been feeling pretty good about that, and certainly compared to January, February, where I wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
And now it's spiking back up. I know a bunch of people who have gotten COVID recently.
Yep.
And who knows what's going to happen. I mean, it's just
exactly. It's wait and see. Like it's still wait and see. It was wait and see
Right.
last spring and last summer and then last fall and then last winter. But you know what? You're getting me. Hold on, Will. I want to hear that. But one thing that you may not know about me is that I got an A+ in university level statistics, right? And I do not understand the positivity rate because if you look at it, okay, that's how many people take a test versus how many people are positive on the test, right? So it's not how many people in the community have it. And what's happening now is a lot of people are testing at home. So they have a home kit.
right.
So they don't show up in the positivity rate.
True.
So
It's back to what you learned in stat class. Just funny. It's called sample bias.
Sample bias, exactly. So when I inherently see this on the news and they're like, well, the positivity rate is up. Okay, wait a minute. So people who wonder if they're sick, they're testing at home, which is great because they don't go to school and work and get people sick, but it doesn't show up in the statistic. It's only people that are like, I feel terrible. I better go see if it's the flu or the COVID, and they go to the hospital and they test. So of course it's up. So I don't know what to think, and I think the restaurants don't know what to think. They don't want to invest in a big summer-long music program. It's all onesie-twosie now, and I hope it fixes itself.
I don't know. I mean that I agree with you about that particular number, but it's kind of all we have to go by. Like they do have, hospitalizations and death numbers. Okay. Those are other numbers that you could look at.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. They can adjust for this, and I'm surprised
Yeah.
they're being very lazy, and I don't understand that.
Or
They
they're
can
being
adjust for the
overly
num-
conservative. Let's say
but they can adjust for the number of home tests sold every month and the growth of that, and assume some positivity rate in those, and pile that upon the measured positivity rate,
Right.
and expand the population number. They're being very fucking lazy and
all
calculating.
right, the 7 of us need to take over the government. We need
That's
to
right.
take over the government.
Yeah.
And Randy is
But
going
you
to
know,
be
for
the
your
logic
stats,
czar.
I spent 15 years in marketing research.
Right.
There's a way to fucking modify those projections.
Yeah, but yeah, there's probably some multiplier. It would be great to know that multiplier you could use. The positivity rate is 6, but it's actually 9 because you
But you know
add
what?
50%.
Lower because to Ed's point earlier, it's people who are already like, I don't feel well taking these tests.
Right.
So I think you throw in a huge bucket of people who are like, maybe I'll take a test.
Right.
And I think that'll sink that number significantly.
But guess who gets screwed at the end of the day? Musicians. At the end of the day,
Does it involve a woman?
yeah, no, it doesn't involve a woman. It never usually, for bass
Not that
players,
kind
it
of
never
screwed.
does,
Yeah.
you know. They're always going home with the drummer and the sax player, you know.
Hey, what's wrong
Right.
with that?
Right.
Oh my God, you know.
Nice try, Randy. Nice try, Randy.
I-
I was in line with your wit, and then all of a sudden,
Thank you,
the
Nick.
reference to the
Thank you,
bass
Nick.
player. You got it, man.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Ray Simonelli, do a song for us. You got
Yeah,
something
yeah.
planned?
Sure, why not? I'll do something. Can you hear me
Come on.
okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
Loud and clear.
gonna
Can you hear
pour
my
it back.
guitar?
Yes.
Back off the mic a little bit. Sing about 2-3 inches from the mic.
How about that?
Yeah, that's the way.
All right, I'm going to do a Rolling Stones song, Wild Horses, but it's a slightly different version, but not a big departure. Years ago, Alicia Keys had an unplugged TV special, and she invited Adam Levine from Maroon 5 to do it, and they did it as a duet. Obviously, I can't do that as a duet tonight, but I'm going to use that structure. And I'm actually doing this song with Sheila Fabrizio at a private party this Saturday night. And we're doing basically a 3-hour acoustic duo gig at this private party. So this will be one of the songs. She agreed to do it. You know? So here we go. And again, it's not, I mean, other than the intro and what happens in between the verses, the only other difference is during the chorus, there's one part where they switch from a major chord and swap it out for a minor chord just to give it a little bit of a different feeling. All right, so here we go. Childhood living, it's so easy to do. The things you wanted, I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know who I am. You know I can't let you slide through my hands. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I watch you suffer a dull-aching thing. Now you decided to show me the same. No sweeping exits. Oh, off stage lines can make me feel bitter or treat you unkind. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I know I'll dream you a sin and a lie. I had my freedom, but I don't have much time. Faith has been broken, tear must cry. Let's do some living after we'll die. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses will ride them someday. Or something like that.
At some point, I'm going to learn how to push the buttons on this silly show.
That's all right.
Nice job,
Fantastic.
man.
That sounds
And
great.
Randy, I apologize. I was looking forward to playing with you tonight. It didn't come
I
together.
know, no shit, right? Right? We'll
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys were
see
going
each
to
other
jam?
soon, either at the Evil Empire or my jam basement.
What's that?
I'll see you soon, either at the Evil Empire or my jam basement.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now, what
Yeah, you'll
exactly
definitely be
is
seeing me
the
there.
I'm
evil
being a
empire?
bit pissy because I'm thinking the current ownership of the Black Quack doesn't realize what they have in terms of their staff and the loyalty of their fans and customers and the
Mhm.
bands that have historically played there. It's like they have wiped the slate clean. They're booking one band 3 times in 1 month.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that's
What
all.
band? Your
I'm
band?
not gonna. Yeah, don't make me. As soon as
Not
you go-
your band.
Oh, it's definitely not
Yeah,
my
that's right.
band. Yeah, no. I was told to call on March 1st for bookings for spring and summer. When I called, I got bookings in October and November. Like,
No
I
shit.
did precisely what you told me to do.
If it were Randy's band 3 times this month, he'd be like, "Well, I'm playing at the Black Duck 3 times this month, suckers."
Is that how I felt?
That's how I see you. Yes.
Yeah, I've already heard a couple of comments from musicians,
Oh,
and
no,
one,
and
as
Wendy
Ed would
has
say,
been
a civilian that have already said, you know what?
Civilian.
I don't like the way they're treating people. I may not
No,
go
it's
Bester
not.
anymore.
I mean, forget Ed. I take those jokes very well, and they're well put. But the way they're treating their staff and their customers, just core customers. Kitchen's closed at 8:30. No fish specials. I've
What?
never had to send food back 2 times in the same evening at a restaurant. Like,
Why do you think they're doing that, Randy? Are they under? Are they,
because
are they
as the
losing
business,
money
when
and
I
they're
was
in
in the
trouble?
corporate world, there's a saying: any fool can cut his way to profitability in the short term.
Oh, okay.
But it takes someone with business acumen to actually build a business in a sustained, profitable way.
Okay,
And let me guess. I'll let you guess which bucket I throw this crew into.
I got it.
You're
Yeah.
a fucking bass player, and you say something that articulate about
down,
business?
down with capitalism. Down with capitalism.
What the hell?
Jesus.
Who are you?
I have spent my career in capitalism. You
He
kidding
is
me?
he is the Rasputin of Jam TV. The Molotov,
God,
like
Will seems you're such a gentleman. Not just that came out of nowhere. Poor Randy. Jesus Christ. I got
What I
on my
like about
game. I
Will
got to
is-
start shitting
Will-
on somebody.
Nick, to your point, what I like about Will is Will starts something in 2 seconds. He goes, "No, I can't let that stand." And I'm like, "What?
not me.
I didn't hear a fucking thing.
I didn't-
It sounded
mean to.
fucking great to me. What?
Everything is just, blah! Sorry.
Will reminds me of my dad. He was like he was like profanity in a tuxedo. He would swear with elegance.
That's a song right there.
What
That is
a
a song.
song.
Right?
Oh my God.
Like fuck you and black tie. You know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
And can I tell a technology joke?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. It's a technology prank, and I actually did it. It was one of the best ones I ever did in business. So this was in the 80s. I was at a company called Burke Marketing Services in Westport from 83 to 9 or something. So remember when gift cards, Christmas cards, everything, Hallmark cards came and they played music. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
a birthday card, and it would sound like Atari music, like nee, 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 like so bad, so digital, so Well,
Atari music.
of course, I had to open one of these motherfuckers up, and you find out it's basically a coin battery in there, and it just once you remove the resistor, the separator, if you will, and make the contact, it will play till the battery dies. So, of course, I went into a compatriot's office. And I pulled out the middle drawer of their desk and taped it underneath and put the middle drawer back and left. And for 3 days, this dude was tortured because he couldn't find it. And just it was like for like his whole
That's pretty evil.
actually came and threatened violence to me, and I had to show him where it was.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. All right.
You
here's
do
my
have a
brother.
dark side, Randy.
Oh, my
That's
You
the
have
God.
a
mature
dark
side
side.
of you.
You have a dark side, my friend.
That's a good one. That's even better. The old stunt where if you're gonna get fired, right? You just know you're getting called in to get fired. You go and you get a pound of shrimp at the store. That's in like a vacuum sealed container, right? Vacuum sealed, and you reach up and you push the ceiling tile open and you drop it between the drywall. Right?
Absolutely, yes.
And it hits the bottom, and then it needs to ferment.
Oh, it
for
has
a-
to cure. It has to, yes.
And the bag expands as it's fermenting.
Hold on.
It takes about 2 weeks.
Coffee is all fuck. And
It
then
takes
it's
2 weeks.
Burst, and then
Wow.
And then it goes pop, right? And then there's no finding it. You have to demolish the entire building. You know.
Wow. Yeah.
pay any price.
Brilliant. You clearly went to boarding
Wow.
school. It's
Yeah,
easy to
it's
tell.
totally with the
Yeah.
boarding school.
Yeah,
There is no brothel
Yes.
on the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had my door glued shut my freshman year. It was these guys
yeah.
actually glued
That's a
the
good
door shut. I came in and was like, "What?"
I'm telling you, you don't want to live in the engineering dorm where you have like the engineering students because they will torture each other. MIT one year they took a guy's room, they structurally reinforced the building and they watertighted the room and put fish in the room, and they made it so when the door opened, you were looking at a fish tank, and the guy's stuff was in the room.
I have an observation. We're all telling these stories. Everybody's laughing. What is it about guys that this is so funny? That no woman would ever do this or even laugh at it, or even.
They're like, they're like,
I got a boring.
Song like all you guys, even at your age now, you think this shit is funny?
I have a boarding school story to end all boarding. Now you don't know the guys involved, but I'll keep it quick. So back when I was a freshman at Old Hebron Academy, one of the upperclassmen, really good guy, but boy was he mischievous. He made chocolate chip cookies filled with X-Lax, right? So a bunch of guys.
Oh wow!
My friend Phil McConnell ate a bunch of them. And he had gas, but he didn't really know what the source of the gas was because no one told him about the X-Lax.
Payback is hell.
My roommate was a swimmer and kind of a jock, and he ate a bunch of them too. He didn't know where the gas came from. Yeah. And so they're standing in the hallway outside our room. Carl, my roommate's coming back from the shower. He's just got his towel around his waist, right? Phil insults Carl. They have a great rapport, but Phil's a little guy, and he insults Carl. So what does Carl do? He rips back that towel and aims his butt at Phil and goes, because he said, I got some wind coming your way, Phil. And then he lets it go. And it's about this thick. It's like a garden hose. And the thing was, Carl didn't look around. He just farted and left. Phil, he had a white shirt on. It was like,
not anymore.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Hey, Honeywell, you come back here now. And they ended friends, but my God, the dorm.
Hey, Train, don't you ever bust my balls for going over the line again. Right?
So wait, that guy sharded on him. Huh?
Now I've got that. Yes, I got to get that out of my vision.
Yeah, he sharded all over him.
God, Sherry and Dale, and there's no woman who's going to join this show anymore. I just lost them all now.
I can already tell Randy and I are heading over to the Black Duck later. You know?
Yeah, right. We're in that room in Animal House with the blind guy, the crippled guy, and the Indian and Jugdish, and we're being in the room.
Well, between this stuff and then the bung hopper, or whatever the hell that thing was last week,
the pork bung. Wait, that was Bill Nolman, right? We had we had a long conversation about. It was a what was it called?
Yes,
It was the pork bung extractor.
I don't want that vision in my.
Well, then you don't want to see this.
What?
And this is how it works technically. If you want a parts list of the pork bung,
that's a different story.
It's the hog bung dropper. That's what it's called. Yes, the hog bun dropper. Yeah.
What is that? It gets it out if they're constipated?
We're not going to talk about this anymore.
You tease.
Where's the video? No video?
Yikes.
Oh, I've got a video. Don't worry. Don't talk about my sex life. You know.
Don't you know when to censor yourself?
Filter.
Did I say that or think that? I'm not quite sure.
Oh my God, Nick Carter, you're gonna play us a song and save us from ourselves?
Sure.
Save us from ourselves. Oh my God, out of control.
Why the hell not? Save you. There, I like that. Save me from myself. I like that.
Save us. Yeah. Thank God you guys are all here. I needed a good laugh tonight. It's been a crazy week.
So does it sound all right? You hear it?
Guitar sounds great.
Okay, so this is I used to commute to New York before I went into music teaching, and I used to ride the 4 or 5 train downtown. And Wendy, this woman who's still in the city somewhere, although I haven't seen her in 20 plus years, a fine busker in the halls of Grand Central, and you could hear her before you saw her, right? Because the sound would just careen off those marble walls. Anyway, so this is just kind of a thank you note to Wendy. It's called Rumble of the Train. I played it before, but I think we need to cleanse the place with Rumble of the Train. We don't want to get too pure or pious. Here we go. I'll stand up so I can get this thing right. Here we go. So I followed her voice underground. Through the tunnels and the noise, I tracked her down. She was singing by the turnstiles to a city on the run, and passing out pieces of her heart in every song. She's saying, way down here, some things never change. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. Yeah. She's there each day when I come rushing by. She says, I'll trade you a story for your time. Yes, I will. It's an endless procession that she serenades the ebb and flow. She might wish we'd pay attention. She never lets it show. She just says, y'all come back, 'cause good things never change. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. What's reliable and real? It's the way the music makes you feel, and the rhythm of the ride that takes you home. And we go home. Ooh. Well, if I just stop and listen to her song, her music stays with me all day long. But I gotta go, so I drop the 10, gotta leave again, and keep my day on track. Without a word, she smiles. We both know I'll be back. So way down here, some things never change. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. I'm singing way down here, some things never change. Talking about music and the rumble. Talking about music and the rumble. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. All right, all right. All right. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
I like your rhyme schemes there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like any song with the name Train in it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Right?
No, that was well done, man. You delivered it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
The shizzle.
Thank you very much.
I'm a fan, as you know.
It's nice to. I appreciate that. No, it's nice to see Christian. I don't know if we've met before. Nice to see you. I don't.
Nice meeting you, Nick. Yeah.
Nice
No,
to
Oh,
meet you.
Tristan is this ridiculously talented guitar. Are you a Berkeley guy, Christian? Is that my
I'm
memory?
a Berkeley dropout.
Berkeley
Are you
dropout.
really?
There are a lot of them. Yeah.
How
yeah.
long were you at Berkeley?
2.5 years.
2.5. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all you need. So what made you drop out? Did you like go on tour with a band, or did you...
No, well, yeah, our band. Larry was in the band. Jason Sinet was in the band. I went to Mary Lou Lord. She kind of got signed for a while. She was in that grade.
Yeah.
Kyle Gordon, we would have been class of 87, 88, 87. I don't know. I went to LA. I was in a band and we decided to leave.
That's it.
Just didn't want to do.
You're like, the
Berkeley
institution has taught me all that I can, so I'm going to release myself.
And I met some great cats, like Danny Walsh was like a really great alto player, and played with some great people. But Berkeley effed me up as far as the Lee Burke method, right? You know, Lee Burke is the guy who found Berkeley. They just changed his name.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
like, you know, you're in performance class. It's like, oh, you play great, and but we want you to play our way, and like having to play their way. The big change for me just totally stifled like what my playing for a while. It blocked me for a while.
So wait, you just blew my mind. Back up.
Me?
So you're saying that Berkeley School of Music is named after Lee
Lee
Burke,
Burke.
and they reversed his name.
Yeah. His name's Lee Burke, and like all the books. I have a Berkeley book here. I love they're like jazz class. There were some great things like the Playing the Real Book ensemble. The beginning of MPNE was cool. Performance class was cool, but getting ratings is just like a fucked up thing. Intimidating young guys and gals are coming in there and like, you're straight twos. You're 2, 3, 2. And you got to learn it our way. But there were some good things. Having a guitar teacher, Bill's, I can't think of his name. His cat was great. I had a couple of great teachers who taught me like moo chords, Steely Dan chords, and yada yada. And they had a great book on passing chords.
Yeah.
Like when you do a passing chord, you just, And there was some really great stuff. Obviously, I mean, there's some great players that come out of Berkeley.
Right.
I have a nice guitar methods book that's published at Berkeley.
Yeah.
It's just a nice.
There's some great stuff. It's just, I don't, it's like it, I feel like I'm an empath. Like all this talk about, like going out to play. Like I'm in no rush to go out and to play. Kind of like going back to my thing before about let's see like who's really coming out this year, really. Like who are we as musicians? I get it. Like we want to go play. We want to go play open jams here and then. We want our band to be, the best gigs in town and go around. But it's like, who are we playing to? Are people really into it? And then it's like also, being forced to play a certain way and then be rated. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
It bummed me out.
The idea of grading art is very strange.
Yeah.
I think of all the masters. If they had a teacher that was like too abstract, too realistic, too colorful, too,
yeah,
it's art. How do you?
It's hard. It's a hard.
I
thing
have
to do.
the guys here have heard about not everybody, but I mean some of the guys are aware that I got this album coming out. I had a guy work with me who was my producer. He's a Berkeley dropout, tremendously talented guy, but he's Berkeley dropout.
Yeah, there are a lot of very talented people
He's
who are
a working
dropouts.
touring musician. He doesn't need Berkeley. I mean, I'm sure you don't either, Christian, but he's doing.
Well, I
he's
mean,
doing
I'm
his
not
thing.
great. I mean, I'm just an ordinary average guy, like Joe Walsh says. I mean, there's Gary Burton is there. Their teachers, they're phenomenal. I can't think of my guitar teachers. He used to play every time like Patsy Cline came and like there's cats there who got, and this is the 80s, who had sessions and Danny Walsh was just, there's some great jazz. I mean, Endless List. Steve I went there.
So let me ask you this:
Schofield went there.
Was it that? How much of it is the amazing people that you meet, and how much of it was they just made you learn the real book in 12 keys and practice 20 hours a day? Like how much?
Will Calhoun was. And I think about Will Calhoun's the drummer for In Living Color, or is the drummer. He was just a cat. When you'd walk by all the drummers in the drum area, he was like on the pad, like doing paradiddles, and trying to think of, Mary Lou Lord was on our floor. She got signed for a while. I don't know what she's doing now. Like, music, art is subjective. And then yet there's some great players and there's some good teachers who obviously accomplished. And, my sight reading used to be a lot better. I can still actually sight read and I can write and certain, to a certain level. Like I'm not knocking it. It didn't work for me,
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's how it was for a lot of other people, and it was expensive,
There it is.
Student loan days. I mean, paying that shit off went for a decade or more after that, for 2 years of fucking up.
Right, and you get out of school and you're like, wait, how much do I get for a gig? Like $100? What are you talking about?
And then in that day, we used to rehearse underneath till Tuesday. And it's like, and like Larry, Larry, the bass player in that one video, always used to talk to them. And they were like, you guys, we call you guys. They had a name for us because we would have these crazy acid jams. And they're like, we thought you were great. Like, your jams just went on forever. And, till Tuesday, like those cats, I don't know, that we opened for Del Fuego. There were some people who were really talented, or just artists like us. It's really like hit or miss in the modern art world. And that's why it's interesting to come on. The conversation tonight's interesting about like where it's all going now and how we can kind of like self-distribute ourselves and reinvent ourselves. It's cool to, play acoustic guitar and play my 12 string, play my electrics and write the way I used to do. But it's also like cool to like see what's coming and like know that things have changed. And like,
I really feel it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow. So what do you think, Eric? Speaking of a guy who can speak to where we are and where we're going in music, how you doing?
Hey, man. Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
Eric, how are you? Good to see you.
What's up,
See you all.
Welcome,
yeah,
Eric.
what's up, everybody? What's up?
Eric Rabaska. So we're
Man, that's a
talking.
big question, Ed.
Oh
you
my
know,
God,
Where's it going?
where's
Who
music
knows?
going? Music?
where's it going? Like Christian, what resonated with what you just said. So I started this conversation by saying, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know if the music scene's going to come back. I don't know. And Christian kind of just blew it out of the water. He said, Is it time to come back? Is it we got to see who's standing? We got to see who the audience is. We got to see the venues that are out there.
Well, and it's like we probably have friends on all different levels of the totem pole who are in professional bands, right? Paid gigs and touring and whatever. And I know some who are just like, I fucking would love to be at home like you, Christian. You know, I'm like semi-retired, you know, and like not have to play for money and listen to classical music and be with my girlfriend.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because I'm sick of it right now. And it's like, yeah, I never. One time, bartender somewhere in the Midwest told me, if you had it as a job, like so and so band got signed, and this guy, and you know, it'd be a fucking job, and you might hate it. It'd be work.
It's a nightmare. Touring is a nightmare. I know a lot of people that tour,
Yeah, I've been on the road.
and they're
It's
like,
exhausting.
"Hey, I'm going on tour." And they're like, after
Yeah.
after 6 weeks, they're like,
8 hours to. a
"I've got
motel.
another year."
Yeah,
It's ugly.
it's
I
more.
love it.
It's, they
I don't
make it
know.
out to be more than it is. Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
sometimes
good
it's
point.
Great. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes you'd be in the studio and write a song. The whole band's like, we got that take, and that's the affirmation you need there. Or watching you the other night, just with the electronic thing, or making like a short, and then all of a sudden, shit, it's like all these people are watching it. What did I do? You don't even know what you did, but
Right.
so it's kind of like a cool thing, but it is weird to be isolated. Definitely, I can't wait to. I've been doing some gigs and jams, but you know.
But
I
you
don't know.
say you can't wait, so I couldn't wait either. And then I have a few gigs. I book a few gigs. I'm playing places and even like decent gigs. And I get to the other end of the gig. I'm like, I don't think I had fun. I was too nervous. Didn't feel like my.
Oh, you're
I don't.
kidding. Oh,
I don't.
shit.
I was like, I don't know how to plug. I ignore.
I'm having
Okay,
a fucking blast on every. I don't want it to end.
Randy, listen to this.
Yeah, I
So,
think what.
you
Sorry.
know, Randy, you know that like I'm the fastest guy setting up. Like I could arrive at a gig late.
that is true.
And like go,
I've
I could,
witnessed it.
and I'm like chugga, 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 playing
Yeah.
like immediately. And at the end of the show, I got my stuff in the car before like anybody's like, where do you go? And now I don't remember how to do it. Like how do I
What
wrap
goes
that
into-
core
well, I
up?
can't, I'm not sure.
I just
yeah.
wanted to key in at something you were saying though, Randy, about like the bar treating the people wrong. I think the scene, obviously things have changed a lot. And if you're like a real sensitive type of musician, yeah, we want to go play. Yeah, you want that affirmation be out there. But there are times I'm like, man, am I playing happy people? Am I playing to a club?
Yeah, it's a
that
good
likes
question.
But you know, and it's like, what the fuck am I doing out here? And again,
good
I'm
point.
older, right? I've been decades.
And Christian, your point is well taken. I'm separating how this particular venue is treating historical bands and musicians from how they're treating their paying customers.
Right,
You know,
right.
bands
Yeah.
were a cost. Customers are revenue. You got to pay the fuck attention to revenue in order to fund the cost. And in my opinion, having been in business a while, the rookie mistakes going on with this new ownership are Harvard Business Review material. Like I can't fucking believe what I'm seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
I read on Twitter today, Elon Musk is buying the Black
him.
Duck.
That
He's buying the
motherfucker.
Black Duck. I heard that.
Yes. By the way, can I
Made an offer.
make sure everybody noticed that the share price he offered was $54.20 per
Yeah.
share. $4.20.
Is that a lot?
He totally
He's-
did that because he was
he's
on Joe
screwing
Rogan's
around.
show smoking weed and shit.
He's
By
screwing
the
around.
way, Ed, before I let this go, I'll forget it. That Berkeley naming convention of Lee Burke.
Lee Burke? Hey,
No,
how is
hold
that
on,
even a
no,
person?
For you, it's trained.
Trained. My new university, ladies and gentlemen.
Trained. You're trained.
then.
My name is
Randy's
Train.
on the ball.
Yes, Ed is
Second
now,
report was wrong.
he's the artist formerly known as Ed Train.
That's a good one. Train.
Oh my God.
That's
The
your
artist
digital
form.
name. That's like your digital person name.
That's your NFT.
Train.
Somebody,
There you go, Ed. There's your theme song, right? Pomp and Ed Train Ed.
that's Rabashka. Do you have a guitar handy?
I might. Yeah, I can do something.
Come on, Eric, do it.
All right. Let's see. What do you guys want to hear? What are you in the mood for?
We forgot all your music. Play something that we played before. We don't remember what you do.
All right, cool. Yeah, you know, it's It's so interesting. The gig question is, I'm excited and I'm also like absolutely frightened. We did a gig at Club London last week, and 2 guys in the band got COVID, and it's just like fuck,
At the gig?
Well, I don't know if it was at the gig or if they got it before and the symptoms came like over the weekend. But I got sick. I didn't get I was 3 days negative on the testing, but you know, it's just like I'm just so tired of all this stuff.
And by the way, I like all those guys. You don't have to say who it was, but are they okay?
Yeah, everybody's good.
All right, that's good. Because I like all the guys in your band, so now I got to wonder who it is.
Yeah, like who got it?
Oh no, this was. I don't think
Monday. On Monday, I
Sorry.
went and got my 4th fucking booster. I'm doing it because I actually, no kidding, I'm looking at a summer right now with 39 gigs through 4 different bands. So
Wow.
I got to test my ass.
I don't know, Randy. I think you're the bigger you know what than me.
May we all gig as much as Randy. So
Brain, Eric?
that's right. I mean, of course, he's got to be a bass player, but I mean, besides that, he plays a lot. Yeah, I got it.
Oh my God, it's good to see all you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been around in a while.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
Go for it. Play something, Eric.
All right, I'll play a familiar one to me at least, so it doesn't sound bad. This one's called "The Devil's Angels," and actually, after this was recorded back in 2016, and the band finally is starting to play this live, so it's a fun one. Devil's angels hover, lift off to victory smothered. Lengthy competition signals, old ways dying and brittle. Power conceived by a master, gorging on it faster and faster. Reverence turns cold in an instant. Shackles strangling resistance. Security strikes at the fearful under guise of protecting people who by rules they're creating from this axis in time proliferating. Survival of joy is the mission, from mountains to ocean and between them, evolving from next generations, learning faster than those who create them. Tomorrow's questions go unanswered. Glory of past we wish to capture. Meaning we seek through existence. It's challenged continually and frequent. So all goes to hell and to heaven. All cries from laughter wailing. All suffers misinterpretation. And all the angels, devils simply hopeful.
Wow.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Very
ending.
nice.
Wow.
Come on.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
You're a fucking
Yeah.
natural.
That is
That
phenomenal.
is
Nice
gorgeous.
stuff.
Thanks,
Nice,
guys.
gorgeous,
Thanks so much.
Really nice. Hey, Dave Gunnup, how you doing? I see you hiding out in the corner there.
Dave Gunnup.
Oh,
Hey.
wow.
Did I make the
Wow.
cut?
Good to see you.
There's
My
one I
God.
haven't
God.
seen.
You're in, man. You're in.
Are you
He's
still
in
in
the
the
club.
Virgin Islands or are you in Connecticut?
No, I'm in Connecticut.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
He's in the Aleutian Islands.
Well, it's a dream, you know, that and never mind. I'm home.
Oh my
That's
God. So what is Eric Rabaska? Is Dave Gunnup Eric Rabaska in 20 years? Like, look at those guys. Like, they kind of look alike. The hat. They go in.
What's
And,
up, my
Oh,
older
this is
brother?
Eric. You the guy that just played?
yeah.
Yes.
You're very talented.
Thank
Yeah,
you, brother.
great guy.
You are.
Yeah, it was-
You're
I
very, very
appreciate that.
talented.
Yeah, that was
Thanks so
great
much.
stuff. It sounded like two guitar players simultaneously, especially in the beginning.
I mean,
Oh,
I
wow.
was telling Ed, I said, look, I had a biopsy today for prostate cancer.
Oh,
No,
God.
no, you
No,
did.
no,
Oh,
not a bad
ouch.
thing. It's not a bad thing. I've had it for a long time, but you got to go through all the garbage that you go through to make sure it's still the same because it's
Yeah.
been the same for 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
But they screwed me so bad today.
Well, is that a technical
That's
term?
not,
or-
that's not a literal thing. No.
What
At
did
3:00 this afternoon, they told me I had to go get a prostate. A COVID-1 rapid test
Yeah.
for tomorrow morning, and they sent me to Fairfield.
Yeah.
And I went, "Are you kidding? It's 3:00." I went to Fairfield. They don't have rapid tests at Fairfield.
Brutal.
So,
Oh, Jesus.
To make a long story short, my whole evening was spent going, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, fuck this guy. And then I had the biopsy this morning. And I have no idea. I mean, my COVID test was negative, so I'm not dying. But
That's good. That's always
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I just got home. And this is the kind of crap that Connecticut is holding for me.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
my.
I'm venting. And I
No, sorry, Dave. That
That's a
sucks. I'm
horrible-
sorry, man.
Yeah, it sucks for me.
Do you
too.
know what'll
Awful
make you
24
feel
hours.
better, Dave Gunnup? If you
Yeah.
sing us a song.
Yes. I'm
Hell
going to
yeah.
sing a song
Hell yeah.
that I think I sang for you a while back. No, that's not the key. I better leave the glasses on. About
What?
Well, I think he froze.
Oh no, he froze.
Yeah, he froze. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes
Fucking
back.
Connecticcut.
Yeah.
Fucking get out again.
Yeah,
Fucking
he really is having a bad 24 hours. Yeah, this sucks.
That's true. He froze. Oh my god. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully he comes back.
Just the biopsy alone would wreck my day.
Oh my
Go
god.
through that
Oh,
other
yeah.
shit
Yeah.
in the earlier 24 hours.
Yes.
No,
Everything froze on the
Hey, he's back.
He's back. You froze up for a second there, Dave
Yeah.
Gunnup.
about 4 or 5 years ago, Hurricane Maria hit St. Croix.
Yeah.
And I was down there, and there was no power, there was no electricity, and I had about $700 in cash in my wallet because that was the only way to pay for anything.
Right.
Yeah, no
And I was
ATMs.
walking out of a supermarket, and I lost my wallet because I'm a total jerk. And by the time I got to the library for a book, I realized my wallet was gone, and I went back and it was gone. And I basically went, okay, that's it. $700. Somebody else is needs it more than me was the way I justified it.
Yep.
By nightfall. So it's about 11:30 at night, and I've got my phone on because we can charge the phones at this hotel I knew. And this policeman messaged me, and he says, "Are you Dave Gunnup?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "I have your wallet." And I said, "Really?" I said, "What's in it?" He said, "There's a whole lot of money in it." And I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm in Frederiksted, which is on the other side of the island." And I said, "What do I?" He said, "Come tomorrow, and I'll be here, and I'll give it to you." And I did, and he gave me the wallet, and all the money was there. And I said, "Who did this?" And he said, "There's an older Crucian lady lives up in the rainforest, and this American woman takes her to Christiansted to shop, and she found your wallet, and she didn't know what to do, so she brought it. The American lady and her brought it to the police station." And I said, "That's amazing." I said, "Do you have her number?" She goes, "She doesn't have a number, And I went, "Do you know where she lives?" And he said, "Yeah." And so I went up into the rainforest because I know it well, and I found her, and I asked her if I could. I said, "The money should be yours." She said, "No, God would never let me take that money." I said, "Okay." I said, "You saved me my license and all my stuff." I said, "Can I give you a reward?" And she said, and she thought about it because it was a God thing. And she said, "Yes." So I gave her all the money. And she said, "That's too much of a reward." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "Not even close." The reason I'm telling this story is I lost my wallet again this year. Yeah, I'm a real idiot. But somebody else found it for me and did the exact same thing. They didn't do the exact same thing. They came running up after me and said, "Hey, sir, you dropped your wallet," which reminded me of this song. The song is 4 or 5 years old, but the song is, it's a simple act of kindness. It's something from the heart. I walk these streets, I walk these hills, and never questioned why. Some that I passed were happy, but some just wandered by. Their heads were down, their souls were low, and I couldn't catch their eye. I didn't take the time to reach across and ask them why. It's a simple act of kindness, something from the heart, standing up for someone else. That's a place to start. Brushing by the hand of God. Once you have been blessed by a simple act of kindness. Where did I get a hand to hold? Who let me have that chance? Why is it some can barely walk and I got to learn to dance? How is it that it took so long the simple light shining in my face between what's wrong and what is right. It's a simple act of kindness, something from the heart, standing up for someone else. Well, that's the place to start. Brushing by the hand of God. Once you have been blessed by a simple act of kindness. Oh, what is wrong with me? I didn't know. The kindness sets you free. It's just a simple act of kindness. It's something from the heart, standing up for someone else. Oh, that's a place to start. And brushing by the hand of God. Once you have been blessed by a simple act of kindness, just a simple act of kindness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Real nice.
Thank you.
I always like that song,
Nice.
Dave.
If they were like
I knew I
a,
did it once before.
if
I think
they
I've
were-
heard. I think I've heard it before, and I'm really glad I've heard it again. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
That's really
No,
wonderful.
thank you.
If there were, if
I've been down in St. Croix and playing every Thursday night when you guys are doing this,
Right.
so I couldn't
Yeah.
couldn't come back, but I got back and I just felt maybe I could step in for a
Okay.
moment.
if
Yeah,
they were
but-
top,
Thank
That's
you for
lovely.
coming in, man.
And
No.
Nick Carter, you haven't heard that one before. You heard the one about the lady in the rainforest. This is about the other person that found his wallet. It's a completely different thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, I can relate to that. About 12 years ago, some guy, a sanitation worker for the city of Stamford, found my wallet. And I had a couple $100 of travel money in it, and I had plane tickets in it.
Oh,
It was like with these longer folder things.
right.
And we were going on a
Black
trip
of
that
kindness,
night.
man.
And it's unbelievable. I was out of school. I was a teacher at a school at that time. And I had half the school, because of everybody caring about helping me out, looking for the goddamn wallet. And I came home all in frustration, and there was a card in my door.
Right.
And it said, please call me. I didn't want to leave the wallet on your doorstep. Please call me. Or he just said, I have your wallet.
Wow.
Call me. Benny Garrett is his name. And I called him, and he said, I didn't want to leave the wallet on your front step, but if you want to meet me somewhere, I'll bring you a wallet.
That's
Well,
good. Good story.
I was just
Everything
gonna-
was in it.
I was just going to pass on one thing. We're trying to get a new place started in Stamford. It's La Vista Restaurant.
Okay. And what's happening with that? Oh my God! As he says, La Vista Restaurant in Stanford.
it freezes.
His
That's,
camera freezes, but at least he got that out.
that's,
Listen,
well, that's
I already
true.
wrote it down.
Is it
Something
good
going
karma
on.
or
I don't
bad
know if he
karma?
can hear us, but I just want to know: does he take walks during the day, and does he have $700 in his wallet, and where does he live? That's what I want to know.
So I'm back. Right.
All right, start again, Dave. Got it because we lost you.
Dave, we lost you.
We were playing at a place called the Long Ridge Tavern for
Yeah.
45
Oh
years.
yeah.
And what happened there?
Well, our dear friend sold it, and these guys are trying a frou-frou kind of a thing, which will never work at the tavern. I played there for 45 years. Only one guy has tried this before, a guy named Mish, and he went
Yeah.
down in about 3 months. So we don't have it right now. So what we're doing is we're going to be playing like the Sunset Grill and But this place we're trying to start is some good friends of ours. They're Italian restaurants, small. If you've got a duo or a trio that can pull people in, because they don't have a crowd, you know what I'm saying? We
Right.
can pull 50 people in any night we want.
Right.
We can, and it's only about a 50-seat venue.
Yeah, right.
So it's real easy to do if you can do it and you want to do it. Somebody like Ray, if you could pull a crowd there to that, that'd be a great thing, because people like you who are in the community can make this kind of thing happen. We're playing April 23rd. We're playing. It's Saturday night, and it's our first night back, and it's just me, Danny, and Diane playing.
Right.
The whole band's not playing because it's too small for it's really an acoustic kind of a thing. But these guys are really good people, and they make really good food. And you are the kind of guys that can move the musical community around.
Sunset Grill?
No, it's called La Vista Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
It's in Stamford. There's one up in
I got it.
Vista, New York, which is the old South Salem. That's not the one. It's down here, and they're looking for talent, and I'm looking at talent. So if any of you are interested, Ed knows how to reach me. Message me. I'll hook you up with them, but you got to promise them you bring them 30 people at least.
Yeah, right.
And they'll pay you. I mean,
Cool.
they paid us $350, and we played for 2 hours, and we had a nice crowd. But I don't do this for the money anymore.
Right.
I don't. So any of you who, Eric, do you play live?
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah.
Ray, I know
don't know
you
that I can
play
get
almost
30
every
people.
night.
I'll try.
Yeah. I'm just trying to,
If I can get in on April 23rd, I'll be there. I'm going to try to get in, but I don't know if I'll be able to get in. It's going to be packed. All right, I'm coming.
You that.
I'll see you then.
Okay, listen, I'm going to go.
That's the plan. Actually, we're all
Take care,
going to
Dave.
go.
Oh,
We've
I'm
run
sorry,
the
was that
course.
the last act?
We have run the course of Jam TV tonight, and really great to see all you guys. You made my day. I needed this
Awesome
very
seeing
much
you
tonight,
guys.
Nice
and I
see
hope to
you guys.
see you all soon on
Dave,
Jam TV.
Eric, it was
Christian,
nice
Will,
to meet you.
Randy, Ray,
Thanks,
Eric.
Dave. You too, brother.
Great seeing
Take
you.
care, everybody.
Guys.
I'll be in
Good to
touch.
see you. And
Not
here's
on the 23rd. Come out.
good stuff.
Got it.
See y'all
Like
later.
my
And
wife. She's
here's my
prettier
friend
than I am.
Steve Wexler. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait! We got to say hello to Heidi. Before we go. We're literally saying goodbye, and Heidi is trying to log in. There
And
she
she's
is.
frozen in black.
And she's frozen in black. And the show. Oh yeah, but
Heidi.
she's like in it.
Where
Turn
are
the
you?
lights. Turn the lights on.
We can't ditch Heidi.
Where are you, camera on?
It's just this black thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's just to turn her camera on.
2 fucking hours. We've
There
been
she
waiting
is.
for a girl to
I can
show up.
see
Now
her.
you're gonna
The
fucking
camera's
finish.
pointing
Yeah,
at something.
Flash of a
Nobody
ghost.
else can, Ed.
I see something, Heidi. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
So-
there's a grill.
The side of a
think
building?
A grill. It's not a girl. It's a grill.
Not a grill.
There
Oh,
she is.
we're getting there. We're getting there. We're headed to a girl now.
Oh my God.
It's a
Oh my
frozen
God.
girl. It's a frozen girl.
She's
No,
frozen.
we're not getting her. Well, I'll see you all on Jam TV show 107 next week. Great.
All right.
Great. Heidi, good to see you. Dave Gunnup, they all left, and I wanted to introduce you to Heidi on the air, but it was really good to see you, man. And please join us next week for Jam TV. We really appreciate it. I had a great time tonight, and I hope you did as well, and we will see you next week. super fun. Everybody go see Dave Gunnup on April 23rd at La Vista in Stanford. And we'll see you soon on Jim TV. And I'm eating my beef jerky.